Bill May was my dad. He was the founder of Maton guitars. He was the founder because he couldn't afford to buy a guitar, and so he decided that he could build one. He loved wood. He was a musician. He'd done fine arts at school, and he thought he was the man for the job. He had a house in Thornbury, so when he resigned from the education department, he drove his little car out of the garage, and that became his workshop. His brother, Reg, was a woodworking machinist. He never thought he'd come on board, but he did. And so the two of them started that in 1946.
Bill would never have ventured into it unless he had the support of my grandmother. He was still playing as a musician at night time and then working all day, making the guitars, and often I think they had, on the weekends, they'd go collect wood when they'd have it on the top of the roof. And so, yeah, it was very much he had to do that with the support of my grandma. And she was very much too the financial controller of the situation. Bill was the dreamer, and Nana was the sort of, no, you can't have this today, Bill. So she sort of kept him in check, and it was a really good team.
He made classical guitars, solid electric guitars, jazz F-hole guitars, acoustic guitars. He made everything.
There doesn't seem to be two Matons alike in the early days, you know. Bill was always moving, always changing, always trying something different. You know, some of the ornate jazz guitars that they made in the past were just, you know, things of beauty and, you know, very hard to do in today's manufacturing.
Linda and I have been involved since 1980. We started with 12 staff and we now have 70 plus. We would have been making less than 1,000 guitars a year, and now we're looking at 7,000+ per year. When Linda and I took it over, they were actually making too many different models, and it was really too complicated in the sense of trying to do too many things. When we took it over, we actually stopped doing a lot of them and said, we'll go back to the beginning and just concentrate on the acoustic guitars. And that's what we did for the first period.
I joined the company around 94, and about the same time, you know, the Unplugged thing happened, where, you know, all these, you know, heavy rock bands were coming out and doing acoustic albums. So, you know, there was this real turnaround, I felt at the time, you know, this demand come on the company. And, yeah, we went from making that amount of guitars to needing to make that amount of guitars.
I think that the 80s was the period when the acoustic guitar actually took off. And I really do believe that the reason for that was the fact that technology had been able to amplify acoustic guitars. Over the years, when we were in the 90s, we developed our own system, and that has been proven, the AP5 that we've currently got. And they are the world's best, and we have unbelievable feedback about how good it is today.
The world market's opening up, the demand's getting pretty full on. I've just built 6 for America, just built 6 for Japan. I'm working on some European orders at the moment. We've got 1 there for Korea. You know, these guitars go everywhere. And in saying that, the amount of guitars that back in the day Bill May got overseas too is quite bizarre. To think that little company in Australia at the time got guitars in the hands of Rolling Stones, Beatles, Elvis Presley. You know, you see these old photographs and think, my God, how did these guitars get around the world and into these people's hands, you know?
He'd love to know now that
The amount of export that we're doing.
we're doing. But Mum would always say, it's not about him. He wanted it to be an Australian achievement.
I love the history of it. The fact that, you know, we're making an Australian product, in Australia, with our hands, with Australian wood still, you know, in the year 2018, still amazes me. You know, I love to look around and proudly say, you know, we're still doing what Bill set out to do, you know, and I think if he's looking down over us, he'd be pretty proud too of where Neville and Linda Kitchen have taken the company. You know, it's gone from strength to strength, and now is actually on the world stage, as the slogan goes. You know, we stand tall amongst the, you know, the so-called original guitar makers in America and whatnot. You know, we're treated as an equal now, and in some terms even treated as maybe more special than the originals.